I was talking to my best friend the other day about one of his startup ideas. Long story short, I told him it was a great idea. But the thing is, the technology was too simple. There's not big enough of a moat. As soon as he launches the product, if it has any form of traction, there's going to be a dozen copycats in weeks, right? Because companies, big ones and small ones, they're just waiting to dive in on a good idea, on an easy idea. He rebutted with a very interesting question. He said that aren't all those social media companies out there, aren't those all easy ideas? How are they making a shit ton of money? It is a legitimate question. A lot of people do think that what social media is easy. In this video, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of investing in a social media company. If this is the type of content you've been looking for, please hit the like button and let's get started. The year I went to college was the year MySpace started dying. Facebook started launching across all the universities, and soon after you started seeing Twitter and Flickr, Tumblr, Viner. There are hundreds of social media ideas launched in the last decade or so. And as a CSE student, as a full stack developer, a product manager, and an aspiring entrepreneur, I started seeing a lot of patterns. First and foremost, the number one reason why social media companies come out of the gate so strong is because they cover 3 out of the 5 elements in the Maslow pyramid: creativity, sense of belonging, and sense of accomplishment. Unless you're living in a war zone where the only thing you care about is survival, social media as a business is worthwhile as a business strategy. Secondly, social media thrives on word of mouth, which is essentially a fancy way of saying social media works really, really well via free marketing. So once the product managers figured out how to create that aha moment where the end user does X, Y, and Z to figure out that this product has value for them, it will become a lifetime user, and start inviting all of his friends into this platform because the nature of the product involves more than just that one end user. He or she wants to show off to his friends, feel like belonging and all those things. Through that process, the end user pulls other end users in. So imagine every person has 20, 30 friends. I'm underestimating on purpose. And then you imagine that you can convince 2 or 3 of them that whatever you just signed up is also a good idea. That's pretty low, right? But if you extrapolate that over the entire population, that becomes huge. You'll start getting bacterial-like growth. The third benefit of a social media company is the fact that it's very easy to monetize. Because of the nature of user profiles, you're creating something to show off that you are creative. You're creating a sense of belonging based on who you are. You want to get praise for your accomplishments. All of these means that you're creating a user profile that's very specific to you and probably very, very true. In turn, the business that's providing you the product for free can now mine that data and sell it off, either anonymously or more specifically, depending on your contract. And then it can also provide you targeted ads. A lot of people look at targeted ads very negatively because, if it works like shit or if the marketing company that's paying for those ads suck, then it's a very bad experience, right? But if it works well, then what's happening is that the company that is targeting you, trying to sell you a product, is selling you something you want. And so you're happy to look at it, you're happy to spend it, you'll probably be happy sharing that product with your friends as well. And then the business that's doing the advertising is making money. So it's a win-win for everybody. The number one con for social media as a business is the same reason why it grows so fast in the first place. It is built on word of mouth. And so if people start thinking your platform is no longer cool, or if there are too many uncool people on your platform, it's going to turn people away and people are going to fall off en masse. What's to me most interesting is that it doesn't necessarily mean that people are just going to leave your platform because they have a profile. They don't necessarily have a reason to delete their profile. So instead of having a platform that is super engaging with high user growth, you might have still high user growth, but you might just be the modern phone book. Phone book is not cool. Phone book is not frequently used. It's just there because it has, it serves a necessity. That to me makes social media a dangerous type of product to invest in. Because if you look at user growth statistics, it might not be telling the full story. The second major con circles back to what my best friend was complaining about in the first place. Social media as a business isn't necessarily easy to build. There's a lot of infrastructural challenges. There's a lot of user experience and design and onboarding built to make social media, any of those products, make any of those work well. But the problem is that they're easy to copy. And so if you have enough money, then you can quickly make one. The challenge is getting all of those users to adopt, right? So once you have a critical mass, you're right, it's hard to get them switched over. But if the switchover does happen, it happens really, really quickly, which to me adds this additional level of risk as an investment that I just don't want. So this is the reason why I don't personally involve myself in social media investments. That being said, I think that social media is a great investment when it's just becoming a public company, because that is when high growth is happening. But once the critical mass has gotten there, and if there are too many copycats, then I think it's very dangerous, because not only are you worried about whether the company can innovate, but you're also worried about how people feel about the platform in terms of how it monetizes. You have to worry about whether people still think the platform is cool. There's a lot of psychological elements in this type of investment that frankly, my time is better spent elsewhere. I hope that provided you a little bit of insight in terms of investing in social media. Again, they're not a bad investment necessarily. And who knows? Zuckerberg is very, very smart. There's a lot of high-paying leadership people on these social media companies who probably potentially will create differentiators that other companies can't copy. I have yet to see that. There are copies of Instagram, copies of Twitter, copies of Facebook. The European market uses something different than the American market. The APAC market uses something different as well. Who knows which company is going to win? If the company's valuation is tightly coupled to the size of their user base, as opposed to the innovation and the differentiation of their technology, then I will always have a problem with investing in those ideas. To me, when someone invests in social media for the long term, what they're really doing is they're saying that this company will continue to capitalize off of the user data and betting that they're not going to fuck up their user base. Versus the company that I invest in, they have to be constantly innovating and creating value for new and existing customers, with products and ideas that change lives, change the way we see things, make our lives easier. That kind of stuff is much more interesting to me as an investment. All right, guys, I hope this content helped. If you're looking for more content like this, please hit the subscribe button, and I look forward to working with you next time.